Well, it's all over. David Moyes has left the building. Well, not quite. He'll be leaving the building after the Luton game. The West Ham board finally relented and did the right thing by allowing the fans to breathe a sigh of relief and thereby allowing David Moyes to have a little bit of a send-off, to do a walk around the pitch applauding the fans. Look, it was the right thing to do. I'm not going to spend ages complaining about it. I can't basically sit here complain that the board have done nothing, and then when they do something, complain about it because they had to have pressure put on them. It's been done. That's good. Good for Moyes. Good for the club. Look, the statement has come on exactly the same day when it was completely leaked that Julen Lopetegui is taking over at West Ham. So, look, that's officially unofficial. The one thing that is official is that David Moyes has left. Look, it was accompanied by the normal platitudes that you would expect to be trotted out. I could read you the statement, but you've heard it all before. The club would like to thank David Moyes for his service, and it goes on to talk about his achievements, most notably the Conference League final. And David Moyes has said how proud he is to have represented the club and all that stuff. All the stuff that you would, the sort of stuff that says everything and says nothing about what's clearly gone on behind the scenes. But there you go. It does allow David Moyes to leave at the end with a shred of dignity at the end of something that's been a pretty undignified process. I'm a bit sad actually for him that it did have to end this way, but I honestly believe that had the pressure not been put on by the fans, then this may well have dragged on until the season's end. I think we've got to thank as well a little bit Fabrizio Romano for this, because he has leaked the news about Lopetegui today, and it was such a strong leak about him having agreed terms with West Ham that this had to be done. There was already enough pressure on David Moyes following the 5-0 defeat to Chelsea, where clearly the players had lost complete faith in whatever tactics it was. It didn't seem like the players even tried, let's be honest. And with that in mind, I think that was a lot of pressure. Then add on the fact that everybody, including David Moyes, absolutely knew that Lopetegui was taking over. Then it's been an interesting news day. Actually, I say an interesting news day. There was something earlier on which suggested that Lopetegui had been offered the Bayern Munich job, but he turned down the Bayern Munich job to take the West Ham one. Honestly, brilliant. He's turned down the chance to move to Bavaria because I guess he wants to go to Manor Park or something. I don't know. It was a really bizarre thing to suggest. Obviously, total and utter nonsense, and I think it was probably put out there by his agent as a way of saying, "Look, you better West Ham, you better get him signed up, otherwise he's gonna go elsewhere." I'm surprised Sullivan fell for it, because those are Sullivan's tactics. Remember, he did that to Sporting Lisbon when we tried to sign Willie Carvalho. He said, didn't he? Well, if you don't sell him to us, it's no problem. We're gonna go and hire someone on loan from PSG. He did that. That did happen, by the way. So, look, it's completely and utterly unbelievable. Do we honestly think that a manager is going to turn down the chance of Champions League football, which they've got next season? I mean, they could win the Champions League this year, in which case they've got the Super League, which is sort of a guaranteed trophy, isn't it, really? The chance... It's preposterous. The chance to win the Bundesliga, the chance to coach Harry Kane rather than Danny Ings. I mean, come on. Anyway. So Lopetegui it is. Moyes is out. And I think at this point, I think what I want to do is I'm going to try from here forward to try and be as positive as I can about the Lopetegui move. I have my concerns. Because hot on the heels of Fabrizio Romano leaking that news, David Ornstein was quite close with a follow-up which said that Tim Stuyton had been part of the recruitment process. Now, I don't doubt Ornstein's been told that, but I wonder how much truth there is in it. Because obviously a lot of us have a suspicion that quite possibly Stuyton might have been sort of marginalised for this one. I hope I'm wrong. I hope my suspicions are wrong. I want them to be wrong. I absolutely would like it to have been Stuyton's choice. It doesn't have to be his first choice. If Amorim was his first choice, then okay. But it's hard to believe, and I'll tell you why. What West Ham, you would imagine, would have done was identified a type of coach. So what is Ruben Amorim in terms of a type of coach? Well, he's young. He's quite progressive, as I understand it. He switches between a couple of different formations. He develops younger players, brings them through. So, okay, well, that's what we're doing. So at the moment you don't get Amorim, surely the second and third and fourth on your list would be similar, young, progressive managers who bring young players through. The fact that they've gone for a more senior manager who's completely different is weird. It suggests that almost Stuyton had one chance to get his manager, and when he didn't do it, it was no more working down the list. But it's a sort of scattergun approach which is symbolic of West Ham, isn't it? As I mentioned a few days ago, I think West Ham are a club with an identity of crisis. To go from one style of coach and they go, we're not going to get that, we were going to go for a completely different style. That's so West Ham. It really is. We have seen right now who the boss is, by the way. The boss, I said this in this morning's video. Forget it. Forget influence of Stuyton. Forget the influence of Daniel Kretinsky or anyone else. There's one boss at West Ham, and it's David Sullivan. And David Sullivan's got his man and he's got his way. Now, there are ways to disprove that, but at the moment, they seem like hollow words. At the moment, there is a suspicion that because of the Will Salthouse connection, that's something that fans are suspicious about. Let's put it that way. So I think it's going to take a lot of repair work, I think, for that. And I think for Sullivan, it's probably quite a brave thing to do, really, because he knows if he gets this wrong, I say bang in trouble, not bang in trouble like he's going to lose. He's going to lose his shares in the club, but it'd be hard for him at West Ham. But anyway, I don't want to I'm sick of being negative about this stuff. I'm sick of watching crap, losing football where we get thrashed and sort of looking at a club that's sort of lurching from one sort of pantomime to the next, really. I think we need something we can get behind. We need a little bit of focus, and I think tomorrow I'm probably going to record a video and do a video outlining what I think Lopetegui needs to do now going forward. I think that's very, very important, actually. It's not going to be the appointment that everybody wants. Far from it. And look, Lopetegui will know that because of the petition and everything. They'll be fully aware of that. We'll discuss that tomorrow. As for David Moyes, I mean, it's going to be a long couple of weeks, really, isn't it, for him? It's a long farewell parade. I wouldn't blame him for bowing out after the Luton game. I wouldn't blame him for bowing out before the Luton game. But I guess he can't. He's got a contract there. I think that's the one thing. I think the other thing, it probably, if you look back on, as he'd have known about all of this. David Moyes would have known about all of this stuff. And I think there was a couple of weeks ago when everybody came out and they all said the same thing, didn't they? About the be careful what you wish for. And a lot of them were, David Moyes' pals. I didn't even know. Somebody pointed out afterwards that Alan Shearer actually actively said that that David Moyes had led him through his coaching badges and things like that. So, look, you had a lot of people coming out in support of David Moyes. And I think there's a perception from the outside that he's been treated badly. And I think David Moyes sticking around, it probably takes the focus a little bit off of the fact that his defence and his tactics have completely malfunctioned. And it makes the story and makes the narrative about how he's been treated badly. I don't think he's been treated well. I just want to say that. At the end, I think it could have been a lot more dignified than it has been. But I think it's easier and probably better for him if the main narrative in the media steers away from the fact that the defence he's built at West Ham, a lot of money. I think it's something like 80 million in the last 4 years on central defenders. At the fact that money has put together a defence that is worse than the one he had at Sunderland. That's not a good story to be put out there. So maybe that's one of his reasonings for sort of sticking around to keep that going. I don't think it wouldn't be a great look, certainly for someone to come in for maybe the Luton, particularly the Man City game, and keep a clean sheet against Man City. That wouldn't reflect well on him at all. But You know what? Look, we'll say goodbye to David Moyes. Won't do it now. We'll do another video on it closer to the time. There's no need to be mean to the fella, as I said earlier on. It's no point. He's down and he's out, and I hope he can actually go away and he can enjoy himself. I hope he can. He's earned a lot of money in his career, a lot of money. I hope he can go away for 6 months, not worry about football. Go and take a cruise, do something else. As he looks worn out with it. He looks like a beaten man. He really, really, really does. Before I go, can I please just quickly point you in the direction, if I may, of our Patreon channel. This is going to be really interesting. We're trying really hard to get somebody in on our Patreon channel next week who should be a really, really interesting guest. But listen, I don't want you to sign up on somebody that we might get. I want you to sign up for who we do have, which we've got the Anton Ferdinand podcast. We have got Hamalytics, which we've got some great West Ham analysts on there who are going to tell you exactly how Lopetegui plays, going to tell you exactly where David Moyes went wrong, and give you all that expert in the know tactical stuff. We have got myself and Gio doing our Naked podcast where we're fully clothed and we talk about things other than West Ham. We got breakfast shows, we got opposition previews, we got reactions, we got player ratings, we got mugger tea, we got prizes, we got discounts to our store, we got tickets. There's loads and loads of reasons to join, but one of the reasons we'd hope you would join is to help myself and Gio and support us and the ability to be able to produce a video every day on both channels. In this instance, there's 2 today, isn't there? Allows us to be on hand to report on what is. Let's go with pantomime rather than circus as West Ham United. We've got a 7-day free trial. Link is in the description below. That's patreon.com/Hammers Chat. We'd really very much appreciate if you go over there and give us a little support. Give it a trial. If you don't fancy it, then that's absolutely fine too. But the breaking news, he's gone. The board have finally done it. They have let David Moyes go. He's leaving at the end of the season, and you can expect Lopetegui to join on the 1st of July.